Hello, my name is Peter Phelps of Phelps3D, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial that is a supplement to my FreeCAD 3D Printing for Kids Volume 2 Pendants. So what we're going to do today is a Gingerbread Man type design. So when you first start up FreeCAD, it's going to start up in your Start workbench with this page here. Here you can find the FreeCAD homepage, user manuals, tutorials, links to other things. But most of the time I work in, this is the workbench drop box, and I end up working usually in part design, draft, and for my 3D printing, and sometimes I'll use the drawing if I want to make a 2D dimensional CAD drawing. And then I've added drawing dimensioning, which allows me to add dimensions to the drawing. But for today, we're going to work in part design. Now, everything that's in the Sketcher workbench is part of part design. You can move. So, everything that's in the Sketcher is also part of part design. That's why I tend to work directly in part design rather than just use Sketcher. So, we're just remaining part design. Now, you may find that your menu items here, your toolbars, are slightly different because I've moved mine around. You can move them by clicking the dots on the bar and dragging it. I put mine over these here are my constraints toolbar. This is the views toolbar up here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a new, I clicked this to create a new document. It's an empty document. Then we're going to click this to create a new sketch. The XY plane is the same plane as you would have on your printer. You can think of it as X is your right to left, your Y is your depth, and your Z is your up and down. So we're going to just use the XY plane. Now most 3D printing and design is done in millimeters. So if you zoom in really far here, you'll see that each little square here around the origin is 1 millimeter. What I just did is I used my scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out, but you can also use Control Shift plus will zoom in, and then just Control minus zooms out. And if you want to move around, what you have to realize is that the arrow keys are moving the origin. So if you press up, oops, I wasn't in the document when I pressed up. If you don't click into the document before you press up, it's going to change the workbench. So I click in here and then press up. It's moving the origin and everything that would be made in it up. Press down, it moves everything down. Then left moves it, the object left. Right moves the object right. So what we're going to first do is we're going to draw or sketch a box around the origin, and then press escape. Basically all I do is click and click for the other corner. Press escape to get out of the box tool. Click on one of the lines to select it. Now when anything turns yellow, that's considered pre-selection. You can pre-select points, you can pre-select the axes. So once it's yellow, you can click on it, and we're going to use this over here, the constraint for the horizontal distance, and we're going to change that. I gotta make sure my normal lock's on, and change that to 100. And I'll zoom out. And then we're going to click on the side one, click this, and change that to 100. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click the node point, press Control, click the other node point, and then holding the control still, click the y-axis, and then we want to use the Symmetry Constraint, which will put it right in the middle. And do the same thing here, click the bottom node, hold Control, click the top node, and then holding the control still, click the x-axis and press the constraint. That will make a fully constrained sketch. Now what we're doing is we're creating the virtual build bed. This line will not actually be part of the project. The sketch will just be to let us know what our building constraints are. Now 100 by 100 millimeters is a typically small 3D printer like the PrinterBot or a FreeCAD or some of those. This will make it so we know about how big to make a small project for a lot of the different printers that are used in the schools. Not a very big printer. And then so I like to switch to the model because then I can see the objects that are in it. And then we're going to do another sketch. This is where we're going to actually make. Now we're going to do XY again. And we're going to zoom in a bit. And we're going to start off with 5 circles. First circle, you want to make sure you put it on the origin and on the Y, and click there. And so basically, you're setting the middle point and then setting a radius to them. Okay, and then hit escape, and we're going to set the radius on all of these. Now, for those of you who might not know, diameter is the measurement from one point to the opposite point in a circle. So it's fully across the circle. That's the diameter. Radius is half of that. So FreeCAD uses the radius number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the radius constraint by this little circle one. Click that, and I'm going to change the number to 8. Say OK. And I'm going to do that to all 4 of these. And then I'm going to select this one's the head, and it's going to be bigger. I'm going to set that one to 10. Okay. Now, what you can do if you wanted, you can make these very precise positions, but I'm not going to do that right now. But what you could do, if you wanted to, you click the center, you can click, say, this, and you could set a distance. But I'm not going to do that right now. But what you could set a distance there, and you could set a distance from each axis. So you had your circle in a very precise spot. But because this is just a gingerbread man and we don't really need it to be super precise, I'm not going to do that. But we could zoom in, move down, bring it so it's about 2 millimeters. And now what you could do though is click, control, click, click, and then oops, and we make a symmetry. That way it's, you know, those are both the same distance away from the y-axis. Here, and then we'll do the same thing here. That way it's symmetric. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use this multi-line tool, falling line, and you want to make sure that the circle is yellow before you click. That means it's pre-selected. This will anchor the line directly to the circle where you click. And okay, and then when you're done, once the line hit escape, so that it doesn't create another section. And we'll do the same thing. Now the reason I'm not going to click directly into merging it with the y-axis here is if you anchor it to that, then say I want to fillet that to make it a rounder, it won't fillet that part of it, so I'm going to make it 3 lines here. Okay. So now we've got sort of a man shape, but we're not going to want the inner lines of the circle. So what we do is we click this one here, it's called the trim tool, and then we click on. Now if everything's anchored right, this will work like magic. And it did. Okay. Now I'm going to hit escape to get out of the trim tool. Now if you want, you can move parts of this, and you'll move with what you want. So because we use this symmetry tool, you're manipulating both sides at the same time. And as long as everything is connected right. You want to make sure that every line is connected right. Then you should be able to manipulate this. I'm going to add some fillets in here, which are just sort of a rounding. So you want to click on the corner edges. And then hit escape. Zoom in a little. These. Oops. Sorry about this. This is my computer getting slow and not doing what I'm asking it to do when I'm trying to do. Sorry. This is not. Let's see. I'm gonna move these around. I want them to look more. See how they're sort of the edges hitting and then the circles around. I want to make sure that they don't look like the edge. It should look like the edge blends directly into the circle rather than it has a. See how this one has, you can see it comes over and then the circle's coming out of it. You bring this over a little. So that it looks like it's one continuous. It's not just bumping in and then the circle's outside of it. It should look like it's even with it. Oops. And I messed that one up. Sorry, this is slower than I am. So once you've got it so it looks like it's where you want it. The reason I made the top circle down so far, and I might drag it down a little bit more, is because I'm going to later add a loop here, part of the pendant part of it. So we're going to close that. And what I want to do is I want to copy. Control C, Control E will copy the sketch. What we're going to do is we're going to use the second sketch later. So click on the first sketch, and we're going to pad that, and we're going to put 3 millimeters. We're going to say OK. And then we're going to take the second sketch, and we're going to move it up by changing its Z position. We're going to put it at 3 millimeters. And then we're going to edit that by double clicking into it. You might have to click out into space first and then double click it. There. Okay. So what we're going to do first here is we want to double click on the radiuses of the circle parts and change them by subtracting 2, so 8 becomes 6. Then becomes 8. And then we're going to manually try to adjust so that we're about even. So now we're going to zoom in, and we have to try to manually adjust. Oops. So we're just moving this out so it's almost equal distance from the original. Okay, so now we're about even all the way around. Clicking the zoom stall. That's what that button is. And we're pretty good there. So I'm going to say close. Now, what we're going to do is click on the pad face to select it. And then we're going up to Part Design, and we see Map Sketch to Face. And we want to select from the drop down Sketch 002. This should open that back up again. We'll say close. Now what that did, because all we did is copy the original sketch, what that did is it placed this new sketch directly onto the face of the pad, this item here. What we're going to do is we're going to click the sketch 002, and then we're going to use pocket. And we don't want it to pocket all the way through, or so what we're going to type is 1.5 and say OK. Alright, so now if you want to, you can look at it, and it's a flat piece with an outer rim. What we're going to do is switch back up to the top view. We're going to click in here, and we're going to say New Sketch. Now, when you select the face, like this, when I click that, this interface, and you click this, it will now map the sketch directly to the item itself. And now we get to do some of the fun part. Now we can give our guy, our Gingerbread Man, some eyes. We'll probably give him some buttons. We'll change the radius so we can move him around. Escape. And set the radius on that. We're saying, let's say 2. Click it and move it out. You can click these and move them so that they're not right in your way. And I'm going to make those symmetrical to the Y. And these, let's just make them all 2. Now, if you find like this one, I didn't get it pinned to the Y. What you can do is you can click the middle center point, and then you can control click the Y, and you can pin it there yourself, like that. That tool there. That creates this constraint that will connect it to it. Okay, and I'm just gonna try to spread these out a little bit. Okay, and let's see. One way, if you wanted to make another circle, or you wanted to make this simpler, you can select an item, go Control C for copy. Now see how this has this little, you'll see a little line. Let's see if I zoom in. You'll see a line coming up. So where you want to put the item, click. Okay, this is not something you want. Okay, I'm going to delete that because it's saying that's a bad constraint. Okay, and I'm going to move that one down. I might make that smaller. Like that. Because it has equals. Okay. That constraint. So change that. You can click on any constraint in the window, or you can select them from this list. Can get to that, and then I'll change this so it's smaller. Say just 1 millimeter, and then maybe 1.5. That way it's smaller than the eyes, nose, and then we're going to draw him a mouth. Now, depends on what you want to do. You can make it smiley, you can make him angry, you can make him whatever. I'm going to go with smile. And I'm going to change, I'm going to use the endpoints and rim point instead of the regular arc. This way I have a little more control over the positioning of it. You click, drag over, click, and then something happened there. Let's try that again. Click, click. Okay, now you can see the line. What's going on? I was creating a constraint, but now I have my line back. Yay! Okay. Do the same thing. Oh, okay. And then what we can do is to connect these. It's a single line. As long as it's completely connected, you should be okay. You might want to try to get around or move a little bit. Oops. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give him some fingers. And I'll use the ellipse tool. And so what we do is we go up here, click, and then so we draw on one of these, and I'm going to take it, do a Control-C, Control-E on this, and move it down. And Control-C. So we don't have the same points. It won't allow me to. Well, I'm trying to do a shortcut to just copy this. See if I have enough control over where it ends up. Okay, maybe that will work. And we'll try to do it again here. Oops. Sorry, if you escape too many times, you end up closing it. Okay, so we've got our hands, and what I'm going to do is use the multi-line tool. Give him like he's got a collar on his shirt. And give him also one for biggest point is to make sure that everything is connected. As long as all the parts are connected, then we should be able to do the pad for this without any trouble. That looked good. I mean, you can do whatever you want as far as the shapes and sizing to make it look like a gingerbread man. And I'm going to click close. Wow, what happened? The left finger suddenly went really small. I don't know why. Well, we're going to just pad that. And we're going to go 1.5. And say okay. Come on, computer. I know you're doing video too, but hurry up. Okay, and now what we're going to do, click on, want to zoom in on the top of this head. Click on the edge here and create a sketch. And we're going to create two circles. One circle we want. Now see here, I'm going a little too far. So I might have to make it smaller because I was hitting the edge up here. And then bring this so that it's coming just inside that top part. And then we're going to click another circle. Use the same point so that you're pre-selecting the same center. Click and then out to about there. Now what this will be doing is creating a ring on the top of it. And we'll click close. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click that sketch. We're going to click pad. And then we're going to use what's called a reverse pad. So that it goes the opposite. So it's going down instead of up. and then we're going to say 3. I'm going to say OK. Now that creates the ring on top. And what we're going to do is we're going to click on the inner side ring, press Control, click the other sections. It's not into the Gingerbread Man. Okay, so you selected everything other than that, and then we're going to flip it around to the bottom view. Press Control, still click that, click that, and then we're going to use the Fillet tool. And well, we want to change this down, I think, to 0.5. Well, not good. Okay, how about 0.25? Still not. Okay, we're not going to be able to fillet that at all. Sorry. Okay, so I guess he's not going to play nice with that part. And we're going to go File, Save, and this one. I'll just put it here for now. We're going to call it Gingerbread Pendant. And then you're going to take the pad, File, Export, there's the STL, Gingerbread Pendant. Now all I did is select the pad. The sketch, like I said, it's not going to be part of the project. That was just a guide. It's the virtual bid. And we can close that. Now, I always run my stuff through NetFab Basic because sometimes FreeCAD's not perfect and you want to make sure that it's going to be printable. So I'll save it later. Part, and I gotta go find it. My 3D printing projects, STLs, Gingerbread Pendant, open. And since there's no big red exclamation mark triangle over here, it means that this should be fine to go to print on the 3D printer. Now, when I'm printing this, what I'll do is I would set it so that at Z height it'll pause at 2 millimeters. And then I can change the filament, so I can print the back as one color, like a brownish or tan color, and then I can print the top as white or blue or red or whatever I want. So I can have a 2-color print based on this. That's why I did the 1.5 millimeter. So that what happens is it gets up to 2, and then there's 1 millimeter still that can be the other different color. Thank you for watching. Bye.